Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey into the world of flea marketing. This weekend was a very, very rainy weekend. So, of course, that affected sales. Not really going to go into the sales as much because I think that's not as important as a couple of the other things that went on this particular weekend. Now, this was the first weekend. It was late Sunday night that the engine blew, and I found out that's what it is. The engine blew in my Chevy Impala. So this would be the first weekend where I'm driving different cars there. And the first day I drove my red car, my 94 Sentra, and I was just questioning whether I could fit everything in there. And I did pretty good fitting most everything in there. I still did. You know, I made some sacrifices, of course, because it doesn't have the carrying capacity, especially in the trunk, of the mighty big Impala trunk. But all things being considered, not too bad. And this weekend, it was raining, so I didn't need to bring as much anyway, so it all kind of, worked out. The biggest challenge was getting the double fold-out table behind my two seats. And I did that, so no problem there. Like I said, the sales on this weekend was not as important as a couple other things I'll just try briefly go into. And the first thing I said was a challenge, the struggle to actually fit everything I want to fit in there. So I didn't bring a whole lot of consoles out. There's another reason I didn't want to bring the consoles out, what I'll get into like a little bit later. Let's see. What are some really notable things to go over? I would say the first thing would be that there's a guy that came by. And, sometimes there's someone that comes by and you just kind of makes you feel like a little weird, a little awkward, right? Okay, before the one guy came by, there was some people that were adorned in the Rebel flag, and they were a big reason why they bought the Dukes of Hazzard PS1 game. Sorry, I'm just kind of like trying to... I really want to speed up on this one. This is not going to be a long one. But they said, well, the Dukes of Hazzard game really wasn't that good, but, still, it's Dukes of Hazzard. It really wasn't. PS1 Dukes of Hazzard is crap. So I felt kind of bad in a way selling that for $10. You see, I said I'm not going to go into the sales, but there's no way to avoid going into the sales. No, I actually will avoid going into that. I will say they bought some stuff, various stuff, and one of them didn't have many front teeth, but he talked about Taylor Swift. Do you have any Taylor Swift? She's pretty. I just thought that was kind of funny. And I agreed that she is pretty. She's very, very pretty. But I didn't have any Taylor Swift at the time. I think he wound up getting, what did he get? Maybe Mariah Carey, I believe, something like that. Okay, so I avoided a big problem because right after them when the Rebel flag came by, there was a black guy that came by, talked about how there's a lot of racist, inbred hillbillies. And before, they happened to be talking about Dukes of Hazzard, and I said to them, well, it's a shame they don't show it on TV anymore in syndication. And they said, yes, damn terrible. All the people that are getting angry. And then he whispered, black people. And I was thinking, okay, it's a good thing I don't have any black people around because he was the loudest whisperer ever. The loudest whisper ever. And mere minutes after they leave, there's a black guy that comes by talking about, inbred hillbillies and how there's always pockets everywhere where there's hillbillies and shit and that nature and whatnot. So I'm thinking it's a good thing they all weren't here at the same time. This is a person that wanted a 360 deal. And I said, yeah, man, 130. I'm going to go 130 on I'm going to give him a white Xbox 360 with 5 games. I think 3 of the games he chose was Batman Lego. I think a Call of Duty game, something else. And that's a pretty good deal. 130 for a 360 and 5 games and a controller. And he'll probably need HDMI cable on that. I feel kind of bad for the guy because where he lives, he says, he's named the roaches. So he has roach issues where he lives. And his wife is handicapped. So mostly I think the system is for her. So she has something to do because that's one thing I think about. How many systems I sell to families where there's a member of their family that's handicapped. And maybe that's the most fun they'll have in a day. Right? Because they can't really get around a whole lot. So I'm going to have that ready for him Saturday. He'll be there Saturday morning. two other things I want to get into. Sometimes there's couples that come by. Sometimes there's couples. Oh, one notable thing was I got a really excited set of people. You could tell usually when they're going to buy something is when they're all excited and they're looking around. That's what you want. You don't want somebody that's really critical and it's really quiet because you're thinking, okay, they're really not that excited. But when you get people that are just very excited, whoa, you got comics. Whoa, you got video games. Probably they're going to buy something. Probably they are. And I think they got Kingdom Hearts and they were really excited about the Kingdom Hearts and everything. But one thing that happens is I sometimes get couples that come by the table more often than once, more often than past couple weeks. I think it's been the worst. Is you get couples and then the female seems to take a big interest in you, and it could be maybe I don't know. Women are just flirty by nature sometimes, and they're just bored with the same old D. They just bored with the same old D, and maybe they're fantasizing, even if they don't want your D. Maybe they're fantasizing about what your D would be like compared to the D they're currently with. And there's a woman quite attractive, and her hubby or boyfriend or fiance or whatever. It was a clear difference in physical attractiveness level between the both of them. Not saying like he was fugly or anything like that, but there was a clear difference. There was. And for some of you that don't know, I like to consider myself a quite attractive male. I mean, I'm not a Brad Pitt or anything like that, but I'm quite attractive male. Specifically, like let's say, if I'm feeling good, because attractiveness, what people don't understand is both men and women. There's physical attractiveness, and then there's your other aspects that you have that sometimes can bring you over the top if you're confident too. Might be a woman that's more confident in how she looks, and she actually comes across as more attractive than another one that might be actually more physically attractive, but maybe her personality and how she is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can make her actually more attractive because it's like, damn, she feels like she's got it going on. So, okay, she maybe has going on more than somebody else. I'm generally a very confident male. I'm not saying this guy was a beta male or anything like that. Not at all. But I don't know how the conversation got to Red Dead Redemption, but I think he mentioned that he was playing Gun. And then I asked, oh, okay, that came before Red Dead Redemption. And then she interjects, Red Dead Redemption 2 is really fun. I was like, yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is really fun. And I said, there's a lot of things about that game, technically. Oh, he's talking about GTA. When's the next GTA coming out? I was like, they spent too much time on making sure Red Dead Redemption. I'm not even going to try this point. RDR2 is great. I'm not sure what. Red Dead Redemption 2. I think I try to quickly say something, and that's hard to quickly say. But I don't know where we got to what she brought up. I think she brought up. Yeah, she did. Because I didn't bring it up. The horse's testicles. All right. Maybe this was her low-key way of flirting with me, which maybe he didn't pick up on it. But the whole time, she was looking directly at me. Fellas, I'm going to give you a hint. If a woman is gazing at you constantly, she is locked on your eyes. That means she's probably interested. If she's, looking at a distance or doesn't seem to care about, talking to you or not engaged, she's probably not interested. But this female was clearly on some level interested in me. And then she said, one thing about the game, not to be graphic. When someone says not to be graphic, it means they're going to say some graphic stuff. She's like, when the horse is in the cold, his stuff shrinks up. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard about that, the shrinkage. And then I think I said no, I didn't. I could have said, if she was alone, I would have said well, that happens to the best of us. And then usually a female would giggle and twirl her hair and whatnot. Then I might get a number or something like that. But that would be the course of action I would have taken. But she was with, her fella. So I did not. And she put the elbows on the desk, looking at me, and she kept twirling around like her necklace. Another sign, fellas, if a girl might be interested, is she maybe twirls her hair or necklace, or she fidgets or fiddles and whatnot. This is give you fellas a little bit of an idea because some of you might not know when a girl's interested. And there also, I could do a side upload. It might get like a zillion views because those kind of uploads get like a lot of views hits, telling people how girls are interested and not interested. And I'm sure there's one females could do also. How's the guy interested in you? But I'm not going to get into that right now. But I just thought that was like, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought it was kind of interesting. I forget if they bought something or whatnot. But as she's leaving, she's like, okay, next time I talk to you, make sure you've played that game. So I don't know what's going on here. Not sure what's going on. Um, but I don't want to hurt sales with the guy. So I don't want to like take his female away from him because that would create conflict. A key to being a good flea marketer is not to try to fuck the customers' wives or girlfriends or whatnot, because that's going to hurt your sales. It might help you in other respects, make you happy, but it's going to hurt your sales. Okay, and if it's the case of a wife, you might get shot. So if you're a dead flea marketer, then you can't flea market. Okay, now we get to towards the end of, I think, a Saturday. Sunday, really not too notable. Not a whole lot of sales really that day. I got some excited people. I sold a Twisted Metal for $20. Give me some props because it was a slow sales day. I still held to that 20 on just a disc of PS1 disc Twisted Metal, just a disc. I did have the system out where he could try it out. So you can get more for games if you have the systems and they can play the game, because then they're like, okay, I'm buying something that definitely does work. Damien, of course. This has been an ongoing problem that I had with Damien. And I decided that I would, well, it was raining also, and I didn't have less. The world was kind of telling me, okay, we're taking away your bigger vehicle. We're going to make it rain the entire weekend. So they're pointing the world or fate, whatever, what have you, is pointing me in a direction to go ahead and minimize the whole arcade thing. Because like I said, I mean, it's more of a problem specifically with little kids. And I have a new plan for this weekend. Actually, I'm going to roll out. But I just basically took the weekend off the arcade. I was playing one system. I think I had maybe 2 TVs, but only one was hooked up. I might have had one. I was playing PS2 games. I was playing Super Trucks. And I was playing Super Trucks for maybe 2 hours. And if you played Super Trucks on PS2, it's cheap. Arcade is cheap as fuck. And the racing is not, I mean, I'm criticizing something that's called Super Trucks. But I choked at the end. I almost got first place. And I said to myself, you know how we play games where like, you know what? I'm not leaving this spot until I get in first at this racing game. Some of you gamers know what I'm talking about. You've decided everything goes out of the window. You don't care about nothing except getting through. It doesn't make any sense logically. Because there were sales maybe I missed out on because I'm not engaging the customers because I'm like, fuck it. I just want to get first in Super Trucks. Again, a lot of things don't make logical sense. We're human beings. It doesn't make logical sense. But I'm just dead set on that. Damien comes up, and then he's looking around for the arcade stuff. And I explained to Damien, my engine blew out in the car. I can't fit a lot of stuff in his car. I don't have the arcade set up. And then he says, like, sadly, my mother says you don't want me to come around here anymore. That's the truth. It is true. I don't want him to come around there anymore. Found out he's 9, by the way. He's not 7, he's 9. Still looks like he's 7. I have a little bit of a heart. I do. I have a heart. So I'm not going to, with the condition this kid is in with the family and the parents and his real parents on drugs, I just could not live with myself if I looked at that kid and said, yeah, she's right, go away. I couldn't. I just could not wake up every morning knowing that I crushed this little boy, crushed his life. I could not. So other people might, but I could not. So I just didn't even look at him. I kept my eyes on the screen playing Super Trucks, just thinking to myself, okay, maybe if I just go away, if there's nothing to play here, if there's no games to play here, there's no systems to play, then my theory is That was the reason that he wants me to be his daddy, that he thinks we're all going to play games all day and whatnot. But he hung around for a little while. I don't know. He's just saying things, talking about his week or whatnot. Things you would tell a dad, I guess. So, like I said, I'm a stand-in dad, I suppose. He sees me as that. But he looks at me, and because I'm not looking at him and playing the game, he's like, Rick, you seem depressed. Everything's going to be okay, Rick. Like he's going to give me therapy there, this 9-year-old kid. So that was the plan that weekend. But I have another plan for this weekend going forward. And on the super trucks, by the way, I did not get in first. I choked. I got close. I didn't get in first. And that bothered me more than it should bother me.